Good people, welcome and happy Sunday to you on this, the 19th day of May in the year 2024, Common Era. I say a hearty hello and a high silver to you, my friends. Welcome, reminding you that it is 170 days until the election. 170 days until the election. Now, I don't know if that means anything to America. I don't think it does. But this should terrify you. Because remember, as long as you are kept to focus on things that don't matter, these other bad people will continue to involve themselves in areas that really have nothing to do with reality. Today, we're going to be talking about a very simple question. The world is getting stupider and stupider, and no one cares or notices. And it's something which people don't even want to talk about. They'll talk about corruption and honesty and whether people are religious, whether NFL place kickers put too much emphasis on women being wives. I mean, the stuff that we talk about is incredible. Later on today, we're going to have the battle of who's the worst mayor, Tiffany Henyard, Eric Adams, or Muriel Bowser, who, despite everything, is going on these junkets with members of their crew, and the Masters, the mayor of DC, is going to the Masters at $5,000 a pop. Anyway, and one of the things we talk about, we're not talking about, we'll talk about later tonight, is not the fact that these people are not are corrupt. They're stupid, and stupid seems to be the thing which is so overlooked. And we're going to be talking about this. And by the way, take a picture, or take a note rather, of this thumbnail. Look at the people in this picture. Look at who. I'll explain that in a moment. This was, they say, the most intelligent photo ever taken in the history of humankind. So in any event, dear friends, please, thank you for being with us. By the way, please make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you are a part of this. Make sure you are locked in. Make sure you are connected. Make sure you are notified and on notice of new videos and the like. And also make sure you remain subscribed. I can't tell you how many people are unsubscribed. But right now, I'm telling you, listen to this. This is from our great friends at the Wellness Company. You know, and I know, after everything is being said now about post-COVID, remember when people like President Trump and Alex Jones and others talked about ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine, and they said, you're crazy. They called it dewormers and things, and then you wonder, what happens next time? Listen, this is what to do next time, because I'm telling you, there is a next time. So don't just sit back and say, well, everybody's going to correct it. Are you ready to go in the event there is one of these additional COVID-esque catastrophes? Well, listen to this incredibly important message and you will thank me. It blows my mind that more people aren't talking about this, that everyone's not talking about this. The fact is that on Thursday, March 21st, the court ruled that the FDA must delete every social media post addressing the use of ivermectin for treatment or prevention of COVID-19. Now, it's been determined that the FDA lied in their demonizing of ivermectin and other effective drugs for the last 4 years, vindicating doctors like Dr. Peter McCullough, who stood strong despite every cancellation campaign. But the question is, okay, how do I get ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine, HCQ? Most doctors still won't even consider prescribing it. Remember, there will be a next time. And the Wellness Company's Contagion Emergency Kit, complete with the McCullough protocol, has you covered. The only one of its kind, this prescription emergency kit provides you with a carefully selected assortment of effective medications for COVID-19 and other respiratory illnesses. Ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, HCQ, Z-Pak, Tamiflu, and budesonide, along with a nebulizer, so you can rest easy knowing that you have emergency meds on hand, along with a guidebook for safe use. The Wellness Company's Contagion Emergency Kit is a must-have. Go to twc.health/Lionel and grab your Contagion Emergency Kit right now. That's twc.health/Lionel and use code Lionel to save $30 and free shipping at checkout. Kits are only available in the U.S. Now, let me I remind you, I hope you've noticed this. This picture was taken in 1927. 29 of the world's most brilliant minds gathered in Brussels for the 5th Solvay conference. This was convened by Belgian chemist and industrialist Ernest Solvay. And the theme of the conference that year was electrons and photons, topics of contention in the newly developed theories of quantum mechanics. Now, among the group in this were Nobel laureates and professors holding esteemed university chairs, legendary names such as Madame Curie, Albert Einstein, Niels Bohr, Erwin Schrödinger. They say this was the most intelligent photo of all time. Albert Einstein was a rock star. A physicist was a rock star when he came to this country. Ernest Hemingway, Picasso, artists, authors. We used to actually have Firing Line. It was one of the most popular shows ever. America right now is filled with the celebration of cretinism. The other day, tonight, as I said, we're going to talk about the three. Well, who's America's worst mayor? And the ones in contention are Eric Adams, Muriel Bowser, and Tiffany Henyard. And Tiffany Henyard, by the way, is hands down the worst mayor. And I'm sure there might be others as well. And immediately, when people hear you say this, rather than say, let's get to the bottom of this, why are so many people stupid? Eric Adams the other day said, and he was just kind of spitballing. He was just kind of thinking. He said, with all of the illegals that we have here who are pretty good swimmers, the illegals are good swimmers. Yeah, he actually said this. The illegals are good swimmers. We could put them to work as lifeguards. He said this, and he wasn't immediately pulled off of the stage because Americans don't care about stupid. They don't care anything about stupid. Nothing. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. And I'm thinking to myself, and let me just say something. You have to say this. If ever you bring up somebody who is black and you say you're corrupt, you're stupid, you're incompetent, the same way you would say whether it's Sarah Palin or Joe Biden or whoever, they have an extra draw because they're going to say, you're doing this because I'm black. And people will back off, back down, and back away because of that. It's true. It's the most intellectually disingenuous thing I've ever seen in my life. Recently, I was listening to, and I love this. Years ago, because knowing a little bit about professional wrestling, it was considered in the old days that wrestlers never, ever, ever broke kayfabe, never, ever talked about the business. What, good guys, bad guys, heels, baby faces, bumps and angles and heat and all that stuff. It was just never done. Vince McMahon put an end to that. And now there's every conceivable platform, shoots, Everybody's talking about whether Ole Anderson was an asshole. This was it. Dusty Rhodes versus was the Iron Sheik really? I mean, they just go. So there's no protection of the business, no rabid control over the narrative. Okay. Next, somebody realized that the American mob, the mafia, is falling apart. There's nothing there. Oh, there's always going to be people involved in something, but it just never was there. And yes, it has a lot to do with the racketeering statutes. But everybody has a podcast, and there are some who are better than others. And I think Michael Franzese is, without a doubt, he has parlayed it into the best. And I'm not about to question anybody's motivation, but my bullshit meter redlines when all of a sudden people find Jesus. They always find Jesus in jail. They find Jesus. Jesus is a big moneymaker. Nobody ever goes to jail and says, you know what? I found Judaism. I'm a rabbinical scholar now. I'm a rabbi. That doesn't pay. Prison ministries. I'm a Muslim. No. It doesn't work. They all have, and maybe this is America, of course. And you say, well, there's more Christians, but you always hear this story, and I think most of it is bullshit. Absolute 100% 18 karat gold bullshit. Because it's a great form of redemption. Not always, but a lot of times. But anyway, look, if it works, it works. I've turned my life around. I want to tell the kids out there, please don't be a part of the life. The life. Don't be a part of the life. I want to tell you about the life. Okay? Brad Rungi says, I still cannot stop laughing for days at these wonderful women that make up this country, and my last name sounds like rung on a ladder. Thank you. Rung. I like ranger. I would put a little a schwa or some type of an accent, but thank you, Mr. Rung. There's one thing that most of these people have in common, without a doubt. These are morons. These are people who, granted, they make, people who make money. See, Americans love the idea that, well, if you make money, you got to be smart. Really? If you make money? Well, yeah, we made money. Really? And when you hear these people talk, I tell you what, dollars in the life, and I tell you what, these rat bastards, all these bastards, I was in the life, in this life, I whacked them. Hey, you're a rat. Jimmy, five dogs is a rat. Hey, Tony Mules. Hey, Joey Lugats, all a bunch of rats. You're a rat. And I should have went. They're just morons. These are morons. They're white. And they go for this racial purity. They have to be Sicilian. It's morons. And this is the message. The message is not, ladies, if we'd have had a higher caliber of criminals, maybe they're morons. My favorite is these stories about who was it, John Gotti, who wrote down the names of all the members of the, what? You don't write things down from, well, I got $300 from Joey Bones. You got the, stupidity will always destroy an organization, a structure, a culture. Nobody even knows to lie low. And by the way, the original group of people, the originals, Lucky Luciano is a different story, completely different. So when I'm here, I'm listening to this, I'm thinking to myself, does anybody, are you, the message is, please, kids, the idea is that, look, whatever you do, don't fall into this trap. Henry Hill, cretin, a moron. Listen to this. This is what the problem is. It's yeah, education, whatever. It's stupid people. And Tiffany Henyard is stupid. Stupid. And when you listen to her, you can always say, you know what, that guy's good. I noticed something. It's not an accent, it's not a patois. So here's a latest story. Muriel Bowser, who's a moron. She's the mayor of DC. Carjacking, personal property crimes, assaults through the roof. She's taking what, 15 people or so to Vegas. She just came back from the Masters, or came back from this. This is like Tiffany Henyard went to. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen. It's absolutely. I gotta tell you this. You gotta see this. And let me also say something. We don't care about Jennifer Lopez. That's all I'm gonna say. We really don't care. But I want to give you this. Oh, and by the way, Diddy's former assistant makes astonishing admission after seeing a hotel. Look, the statute of limitations in the Diddy case has passed. I'm sorry. This is what Diddy, moron. Have you heard him? Have you seen him? Have you listened to him? Moron. Let me tell you something. People who cannot close their mouth, you will find out for the most part, are morons. And they hand these people, they hand these folks. Do you understand this? They hand these people all of the money and all the fame so they can take the heat and be their person, either in human trafficking or whatever it is, to act as the stooge. Before I forget, I'm throwing a lot of stuff at you. Political analyst reveals why he thinks there may be a secret Democratic plot underway to oust Biden before the election. Remember what I've been saying. Remember what I've been telling you forever. Remember, for the longest time, it's Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom is still perfect. Gavin Newsom satisfies everybody. Joe Biden cannot do this. He cannot do this. It's not like, well, do you think maybe? And no, it's not going to be. It's not going to be. No, it's not going to be Kamala Harris and all this nonsense about, well, you know, they need a black woman. Would you stop with this race stuff is killing us? No, we're not going to do this. They realize no more of that. No. We have to fix things. But look at this one. Back to the subject. Washington, D.C.'s woke mayor Muriel Bowser will travel on a taxpayer dime to Las Vegas with her team hours from now. It comes weeks after the Democrat faced backlash for attending the lavish Masters golf tournament that cost $5,000 per person. The mayor will travel with a team of 14 on an economic mission to Sin City, to the International Council of Shopping Centers at the Wynn Las Vegas. And then she went back to from the Masters. Now, let me explain something to you. I don't know if anybody wants to hear this. This is up to you. Do you think the folks at the Masters are glad you're there? Barbara, by the way, Barbara Battellini. Want to say hello to you, Barbara. Do you really think, seriously, that the Masters would embrace you? I don't want to bring any, not bad blood. To me, it's freedom of association. Do you think they have do you think the number of, at Augusta, the number of black members, and the whole thing goes for golf as well, and that could be a different, again, I don't want to go into this. I don't want to go into this. But do you really think you're being welcomed? Do you say, oh, this is great? No, and they don't care. It's a trip because they're a crook. And Muriel Bowser is a corrupt. Now, she, I think, might realize, so did Eric Adams, that nobody's going to back her up, that she bought into this nonsense about being this woke, whatever it is, and they're going to tell her, we don't care about you. We don't care about you or your city or your future or anything like that. We don't care about you. You don't understand this. But you think somebody would say, Muriel, don't cancel this. out of an abundance of caution, we don't think now would be a good time. I've got some important things I'm going to do in the district. No, because here's the thing. Listen carefully. Number one, these are not bright people. Okay, so Tiffany Henyard, she's just, she needs help. She needs help. She is my favorite. But I don't even know what to tell you. And when you tell somebody, she's really stupid, which is the theme of today's show, they don't understand. They say, well, what do you mean by that? Because you don't, not you. America doesn't recognize what stupid is. Does it? It means nothing to them. It means nothing. Nothing. There are attempts in pockets of America to grasp this. But there's no critical thinking. There's no education. There's no sense of history. And we're having inbred morons at every level. Look at what, just spend time, watch any time watching listen to how they watch any of this mob stuff. Sammy the Bull, oh my God. This guy took a few shots to the head. Listen to this. First of all, why are we lionizing this? Number one, the mob was far more interesting before we get to meet these judge rules. Seriously. I don't know how many ever. No wonder they. This is the part. Let me go back a little bit. You see, in nature, Darwin would mandate, if you believe in whatever survival of the fittest, to an extent. If you are an animal that has increasingly garish and beautiful plumage, you're going to be picked off of the savannah first by a bunch of lions and cheetahs looking for a meal. So you're not going to be doing well. People who are less ebullient in their plumage have a longer period to live. Okay? Okay. Certain things under the rules would apply to you. You see, stupid people should be, I guess, removed. Societies, organizations should recognize this. Do you know that Totorina, the Sicilian mafia guy, this guy who took the son of he had another the Sicilian mafia. These folks are serious. He lived for 30 years like underground. It's weird. They're not into this. They don't understand the gaudy flamboyance. Anyway, he took somebody's son, starved the kid, tortured the kid, and then fed him to wild pigs. This they call him the tractor. Totorina was the worst. Do you know what he said? Do you know what he said when he testified in one of the Supermax trials? One of them? He said, I apologize to the court because my speech, I'm not educated, and my speech and my pattern of speech and my mistakes are embarrassing, and I apologize. This is a killer. A killer beyond anything you've ever seen before. And none of them are doing podcasts. None of them. There was some talk about Instagram. But even he said, I recognize that my speech, I'm embarrassed. We're not embarrassed by that anymore. Not in this country. No. In fact, the dumber you sound, the better you sound. Do you remember that piece? I was going to put it on here. Remember when Airplane did Barbara Billingsley? She did that jive stuff. Hey, mama. It was, hey, I'm told mom that on the right. He don't put on the P here. It was wonderful. It was like June Cleaver with these two, they go jive, turkey, and, they called it jive. Remember Ebonics? Even then they played with it, meaning this is gibberish. It's gibberish. It's not, we're not lauding this. We're not saying, this is a valid No, it's no, no, no. It was if you look at, and I don't even know if that could be played today. They're obviously telling you this is gibberish. This doesn't exist. Remember Ebonics? That was my favorite. They said, "Oh, don't even try this." That lasted about an hour. Even then, they said, "No, no, this is no, 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 no." We're back to this because if you listen to everything that Tiffany Henry does, they'll never talk about the fact that she's a moron. This is the part I'm trying to tell you. Do you understand what I'm saying? The glaring problem with a mayor is the fact that she's a moron. Going back to the mafia, this was the guy, John Gotti, so smart, such a genius. Okay. This is the guy who basically said, I want everybody to show up at the Ravenite, everybody in front of everybody. So they pay homage to me, kiss my ring, so that nobody knew who the. Remember in the old days, they had these placards, these diagrams, boss, underboss, capo regime, blah, 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 consigliere. Remember, you've seen these. And many times they would say, we don't know who's who. You'd get a rat. You'd get somebody who would say, okay, Tommy and Joey Ducks, he's with this, he's with the Gambinos, he's with the Columbos. And they would try to piece together. John Gotti said, here, FBI, just turn on your cameras and they're all going to show up. And you're going to say, he's involved? I thought he was just a... And they kept saying, well, they thought they did. They thought they did. They thought they would say, wait a minute, what are we doing here? What's going on here? Why in the name of God are we... Okay. Do you know where that came? You know where that came from? Where'd that come from? This is American, if you like organized crime history, to an extent. You know where that came from? The Godfather, 1972. Before 1972, American film never highlighted the superstructure, the organizational aspect, the boss, but they had no idea. Before, I was watching somebody who says, yeah, I wrote a book on the mafia. Nobody's ever referred to the mafia in this country. That's Sicilian. Nobody ever calls it that. That's a colloquialism. Anyway. Yeah, I did a book on the mafia, and the most important moment ever in the history of the mafia was, of course, Bobby Kennedy. It's like, what? The Kefauver Commission? That was it. The one that exposed Costello? What are you talking? Here's a guy talking about, I'm going to explain the history. It's like, that's not even the history. Because you don't know what you're talking about. It's people say, I got a podcast. The level of moronic. And there's this one fellow, I guess he's very good, because who's good go back and refer to, hits or whatever from the 20s. Yes, hello and welcome to Mob Hits. I'm your host, Nigel Bloomington. And today we're going to talk to Calogero Big Balls Bouncy Polimiero from the Lugats. I mean, and he does this. It's like he's doing this. When Two Gun Tony, let's talk about, of course, Jimmy the Gent Burke. We'll talk about how many times are you going to keep recycling this stuff? Anyway, bottom line, morons. This is a secret society. Okay, so let's move that out of the way, just as an example. Okay, morons. That's the issue. Morons. And what killed it? The Godfather. Because everybody says, hey, this is terrific. You can go to any place, anywhere, and they say, okay, see that guy? Colombo, location, Gambino. No, yeah, Gambino. Everybody knows everything because everybody tells everybody everything, and everybody wants to be, because of the Godfather did it more than anything else. A secret society. A secret society. Do you know that during this was great. Remember, the three iterations of organized crime in this country were, of course, the Irish, Jews, and Sicilians. All of them, what do they have in common? They were both oppressed by feudal tyrannies and regimes. The time of the Troubles, the IRA, you don't know who the hell's in the IRA. There's no meeting. There's no, you don't even know who's in there. The higher ups do. But you may show up to an event. You're in the IRA, you're in the provisional IRA, you've got something to do, and you don't know who maybe somebody's got a scarf or whatever it is. You have no idea. You have a suspicion. It's not exactly a huge group of people, normally male, male from 19 to whatever it is, but still. It was, and whether you want to know who won or who won, believe me, if you want to talk about making comparisons between Ireland and Israel, that's the way to go. Make a long story short, these were smart people, really smart, really smart, and people love. But today, no, we don't even. The word smart doesn't even enter the equation. We don't even appreciate it. We don't even. We don't even. It means nothing. It means nothing. We live in this anti-intellectual society where the mayor of New York, the previous mayor, Mayor de Blasio, basically wanted to kill scholarships and close down. Here in New York, we have Bronx School of Science and Stuyvesant, some of the best students ever, and too many of them were Asian. Maybe Asians are smarter. Maybe Asians work harder. Maybe they have a better family system. I don't know. But you want to kill, you want to destroy competition because you don't like the demographics? That's DEI for you. And by the way, to be honest with you, that's the DEI part that killed the mafia. By supposedly making, well, you've got to be Sicilian. What? You know who stopped that? Lucky Luciano and Meyer Lansky. If you listen to any of these people, if you listen to Meyer Lansky, Jimmy DeGent-Burke, Joe Watts, and others, these are heraldic members of organized crime lore who aren't Italian and couldn't have been made. In fact, being made is the worst thing in the world. You would be able to say, I don't want to be made. Why? Because of RICO, you schmuck. Why do you want to be made? What's the purpose? You could have just completely said that, you know what? There's no more mafia. Why? Well, there's no more. Are you part of a racketeering organization? I don't know. But you got this guy, I got sworn in, I got the finger and all this stuff. No, change. They're telling you, don't do this anymore. Okay, fine, we won't do it anymore. Do you really care? As long as you make your million, do you care whether you got your button, you got your badge, you got straightened out? I mean, come on. You would think people would, any other group would have done this. Do you ever hear about the Chinese triads? Nope. Do you ever hear about the Albanians? Nope. You ever hear about the Russians? Nope. Do you ever hear about the cartels in this country? No. 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 Back to organized crime. Of the three, Irish, a lot of them became cops, wanted the city, politics and whatever, moved up the Kennedys and bootleggers. The Jews, from Benny Siegel to Garage Shapiro to Lepke Buchhalter, they got out of that. The Sicilians stayed in there. They loved it. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're basically, we know who you are. It's like MS-13. You know, when people say, boy, they're pretty stupid walking around with MS-13. This guy, they walk around, with this, hey, how are you? I don't understand it. Stupid brought down the mob. Not anything else. Not RICO. Stupid. I don't. I'm going to tell you again. The mayor of New York City actually said that illegal immigrants, illegal aliens, because I guess they're wetbacks, to use the old term, are good swimmers. Have you seen the Rio Grande? We're not talking about the Atlantic here. And maybe we can put him to work in the lifeguards. He's stupid signaling. The most incredible thing. Okay, stand by for a second, my friends. I'm not even started yet. Not even started. Okay? But listen to me very carefully. When I hear people talk about, did you see it was in Portugal? Did you see the meteor? You do know that, I mean, the weaponization of weather, right? You know that, right? I mean, do I have to tell you that? Do you think all this is a joke? You know that every foreign country is buying up all of our farms, everything. You know that, right? You know that every now and then there's a signal like, hey, look, there's a ransomware problem, and all of our gas stations are closed. You know that, right? You do know that, right? Tell me you know that. Tell me you're aware of this. Well, one day, the thing they want, remember, food, water, and energy. And water, I've talked about. Nobody will listen to me about water or AI. Nobody. I think it's because people cannot fundamentally understand the idea that one day there will be no water, or that it will be the weaponization of water, hydro imperialism in any event. But food, no. So what did the shadow government do? They mocked you. They took their legions, like the Fredos and all these other rat bastards who just want their jobs. They say, we want you to go out there and make fun of people. Call them tinfoil hat, black helicopter people, preppers. Give them a name. People who prepare, who basically, have a generator and have water. You're made out to be crazy. Why? Because they were told to do this. Because these are, as you know, these are agents, active agents. These are apparatchiks. These are agents of the shadow government, the people who run everything. And they're basically told to make you sound like you're some kind of a lunatic. Because whenever they make fun of you, they're making fun of something that you're doing correctly. So listen to our dear friends from preparewithlionel.com. It's no longer a question of if something catastrophic is coming, it's when. And while you still have some control, what are you going to do about it now to prepare? Well, your first step is going to my website, preparewithlionel.com. And for a limited time, take $200 off a 3-month emergency food supply. My Patriot Supply is equipped to help you and your family to prepare. They've helped over 2 million families already. These 3-month kits with ready hour foods provide over 2,000 calories every day with 22 varieties and a 25-year shelf life. Breakfast, lunches, dinners, drinks, snacks, everything. And they're sealed inside 6 rugged waterproof buckets, and they're over 120 pounds of food. So take advantage right now and go to preparewithlionel.com, preparewithlionel.com. One more time, preparewithlionel.com. All right, my friends, I don't even know where to start by what is being portrayed to you regarding Israel and Palestine, Gaza. I don't even know. I don't even bother. It is one of the best things I have ever seen in my life. The New York Post is owned apparently by, I don't want to say Israel per se, but that particular faction. According to the New York Post, no protest anywhere is valid. Everything is anti-Israel. Remember Love It or Leave It, Vietnam War? This is so old. People, ex-veterans would say, stop the war. You're un-American. What are you some commie lover? Is that it? Stop. Here's Israel. Stop right now. The massacre of Gazans. What are you, some Hamas lover? You're anti-Israel? This is nothing new. You know that, right? I'm not telling you anything. This is the oldest trick in the book. Then you say, wait a minute, excuse me. I was in the 1st Marine Division. Excuse me. I'm Jewish. You're an anti-Semite. I'm Jewish. You're an anti-Semite. Did you hear what this other guy said? I'm a Marine. What are you talking about? This is the oldest trick in the book. There's nothing new here. And they say that this is all about anti-Israel. So what they do is, you never hear about anybody anywhere protesting rationally, calmly, peacefully, anywhere. It doesn't exist. Nothing. You know why? Why do you think? Why can you pull this off in this country? Why? You want me to tell you? We're stupid. We don't understand anything. We don't understand. Talk to anybody. I don't even, I do not bother. I do not bother. I mentioned to you before morons in the mob. Am I anti-Italian? Well, my Sicilian grandmother and my Sicilian aunts and uncles and all those folks. It's really the only ethnicity other than English that I ever knew. American, I should say. The only one that I ever knew. The only non-Sundays, aunts, uncles, that's all. That's it. And I don't think there was a, granted, we weren't in New York, but I don't think there was. I mean, I had bootlegging on both sides. On my mother's side, we had a guy who was a cop. He was a cop years ago. He was a bootlegger. And on my father's side, bootlegger. But it was, but not, Am I anti-Sicilian? No. You see how they do that? Tiffany Henyard's is a moron. You're a racist. She speaks gibberish. You're a racist. Okay, Sammy the Bull. Gibberish. Listen to these people. It's not there. There's nothing. When people, how do I say this? When people are not educated, when they've never heard words, when they don't know what they're talking about, because they've lived in a world where where a lot of depth has not been a part of their understanding and their grasp. This is important. You want to be stupid? Go ahead. But not when you're running for office and not when you're trying to do something in my stead and in my name. Now, when it comes to this, you have to ask people, do you know how? And they want a black and white thing. Do you know that we have a number of groups? We have Israel, the country, Judaism, the religion, Jews, the people. Now, this is interesting. Jews, the people, versus Judaism. There are people I know, Jews who are atheists. Brad Rung says, you are a highly intelligent scholar and we love you. Well, thank you for that. But I think I appreciate what I don't know. And I love breaking it down and saying, no, this is a complicated thing here. See, we don't have this, Brad. We don't have this. And by the way, thank you for your generosity. And I mean that. We don't have anything. You can't be a Catholic and be an atheist. Now, you can say, I grew up and went to Catholic school. I know the routines. I know about, communion and all that. But you can't be a Catholic if you're an atheist. You can't. And you can't be a Catholic if you're not a Christian. It's just simple. But nobody ever questioned it. You don't ever get into that. The closest thing we ever did was in the during the Troubles, actually during the partition in 1922. You had, Protestants and Catholics, but it really wasn't religion. That was a demarcation. But we don't have this. But explain to people, you can have an Israeli who's an Arab, an Israeli who's a member of the Baha'i in Haifa. Haifa's beautiful. You should see, and Lebanon's right there. You should see the remember Baha'i with Seals and Crofts and their gardens. Oh my God, they're beautiful. Christians, Coptics, you name it. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Walk into that and you say, "What the hell is that?" Those are Catholics. What? You see beards and monks, and I mean, you've never seen any of the Eastern Rite. It's wild. This is Israel. Atheists here, you got the religious, you've got the secular, all over the place. This is the state of Israel. This is the country. This is the name. Zionism. Interesting. What is Zionism? Doesn't really have the closest word we could ever have is patriotism. I don't know what the hell. The belief that Israel is a Jewish state and it has an independence, it has a relevance, it has a significance unlike anything else. This isn't just some place. This isn't some place where you say, well, we're going to, hey, you know, a lot of the Mormons moved to Utah. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, you know, it's not like that. No. Anybody from Pinellas County in Florida, the West Coast, Tarpon Springs, Greeks. That's not Hellenicism. This is different. Zionism, the movement. This is, you know, okay. 1948. So already we're saying what? It does not know a corollary to most Americans. They don't understand this. They don't grasp it. And then they use the word Israel, Zionism kind of interchangeably. There are people who are very, very, they love Israel and they are very Jewish, religious, but they're not Zionists. Wait a minute. What? So you can have all the checks. You can be Jewish and an atheist, but not a Zionist. You can be Jewish and an atheist and a Zionist. You can be a Jewish and a devout and a believer. And you can have all these variations. Then you wanted the whole notion of the Palestinians. Who are the Oh, Palestine doesn't exist. Don't even begin to say that. That's when you don't know what to say. There's no such thing. There's an old joke. There's a joke in Israel somewhere. I heard this. This is kind of good. Moses, I guess the joke goes, Moses is at the Black Sea or the Dead Sea, rather, excuse me. And he goes in and he's swimming and he leaves his clothes on the side and he comes back out and his clothes are missing. And Moses says, those damn Palestinians stole my clothes. And somebody says, wait a minute, there weren't any Palestinians then. All right. And we can argue about that. You want to argue about that? You want to talk about indigenous Americans? Who's indigenous? What do we do to the American Indian? See ya. Get out. Aboriginal, out of it. Get out. You want to talk about that? Go ahead. Explain that one to me. I love these ones who, well, you know, Sasheen Littlefeather, who was Mexican. For those of you who don't remember from when Marlon Brando won the Academy Award, she's Mexican, not even Indian. And by the way, Iron Eyes Cody was Sicilian. So there you go. And Chief J. Strongbow was also Italian. Joe Scarpa. But I digress. We live in these contradictions. How did we ever tell the Comanches I don't even know what happened. What happened? Well, we came in, we cut their hair, put them on reservations. What? Sound familiar? Christopher Columbus discovered America. How do you discover something when somebody was already there? How do you discover something? We believe this canard, these lies, and then we're told, okay, forget all that. Here is Israel. There are no questions. Israel owns it. Palestinians are kind of like, well, they're troublemakers and they're terrorists. And by the way, all they have to do is give back the hostages, and that's it. It's all over. It's done with. You know what? There you go. Thank you. We're out of here. Have a nice day. Lift the restrictions. Lift the containment. They call it the largest. It's 5 miles by 25. Gaza. Lift it. Okay. That's it. We're fine. We're done. Bring it back in. You believe that? Seriously. So nobody even, they don't even care to understand the story. They don't care. What they're doing is this. At newsrooms, and on television stations and radio stations. Okay, listen. This is just like during COVID. Remember that? I don't want to hear anybody talk about COVID. You hear what I'm saying? Nothing. Nothing. Other than I got my booster and I wear my mask and I'm happy. You got that? You got that? The word is out. That's where you learned it. We used to kind of have that during 9/11, sort of maybe, but nobody cares. 9/11 is ancient history. Nobody cares about that. But during its time, 23 years ago, it was something, but not anymore. No, that never really caught on because that was a different thing. I mean, nobody even, but there's nothing like this. But right now, what's happening is this. Now, the thing that I want to explain, you're asking, okay, what is your position? Here's my position. Number one, I'm an American, hence the flag. Number two, I want this to stop. I think what they're doing to the people in Gaza is just unconscionable. It's unconscionable. You don't like genocide? Call it massacre. I don't give a shit what you call it. It's got to stop. In America, you're feeding this. You are feeding this. Why you're doing this, I have no idea. And don't give me about, well, it's for Hamas. Stop it. Stop that. You don't need us to get Hamas. Stop it. You want to go to the history of Hamas? No, you don't. Next. While we're on the subject, Ukraine. It's not just Israel. Next. As an American, and by the way, let me just tell you something. Let me just make sure you understand something. There are some people who really hate Israel, the government. I mean, Bibi, and they're Jews, and they live in Israel. They can't stand this guy. The same way you are with Trump. Not you are. We are with Trump or Biden. They are with him. Nothing special about that. I've got no beef against Israel at all. Nothing. It's a beautiful place, beautiful people. You like history? Oh my God. When you go to Caesarea on the Mediterranean, they say, yeah, you know, Herod made this for Caesar. You're using words like Herod. Yes. The amphitheater. Oh, I didn't know that. It's incredible. Tel Aviv looks like Miami Beach. Well, the good part's Miami Beach. They say you go to Jerusalem to pray, Tel Aviv to play, and Haifa to stay, or something like that. So I've got nothing against it. Nothing. The Jewish people, the Israeli people, again, Arabs, Coptics, Christians, the food, the culture, whatever, great. Nothing against them. Nothing. Palestinians, it's a shanda. It's a sin what's happening to these people. And that's it. And you're saying, wait a minute. You just spoke on behalf of Palestine, yes, and you're not anti-Israel. No, of course not. Of course not. Let me ask you something. Is there anybody here who is anti-Ukraine? Anybody? Anybody anti-Ukraine? Anybody who says, you know what you should do? Just eliminate Ukraine from the face of the earth. Anybody? I'm not. But I don't want to fund them anymore. It's ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This is a part of some military-industrial complex. This globalist, neocon, NATO nonsense. You see what's going on? Stand by for a second, or stop by. Let that kind of sink in for a moment. Because this requires not intelligence, but the ability, as Scott Fitzgerald said, to handle 2 or 3 or more seemingly inconsistent subjects in one's mind and soul simultaneously and not losing your mind in the first place. Now, speaking of free speech, I tell you right now, and I know the products are great. We like everybody here, the whole conspiratorium. We're all absolutely in love with my pillow. But aside from that, the owner is just a hell of a man. Mike Lindell, who is still standing, and he's not going anywhere. So let's listen to our dear friends at mypillow.com. Promo code Lionel. It's time yet again, my friends, to hail and salute our great friends at mypillow.com. And if you use promo code Lionel, you'll get a free gift. No purchase necessary. And yes, I know a free gift. It's a tautology, so sue me. But first, listen carefully. Check out their $25 extravaganzas. Premium My Pillows, Queen and King, My Pillow 2.0. My Pillow bed sheets, the lowest price ever. Sandals, slides, slippers, 6-piece towel sets, 4-pack dish towel sets. Simply and absolutely unbelievable. So go to mypillow.com/Lionel, mypillow.com promo code Lionel, or call 800-645-4965 and watch how fast Mike Lindell answers the phone. mypillow.com, simply and absolutely the best. Part of being a wise person is being able to understand many flavors of an argument or a theory for different reasons. For example, let me give you this one. I have we were talking one time, and I said, oh, I forget where we were. Somebody said, what are your, and I hate this word, what are your vegan options? He said, oh, are you vegan? I said, well, plant-based. Oh, well, I'm vegan because I don't like what they do to animals. I said, well, I don't like what they do to animals, but that's not why I am it. I believe in the health benefits of it. What? I think about the health benefit. So you don't care about how they treat animals? No, I didn't say I don't care how they treat animals. I'm just saying that's not why I do it. It's because of the health part. Now, you could see, do we disagree? We're both not eating, meat. But mine's a different reason. Somebody once told me that they were against silk because of the silkworm. And not because it's work, but because the worms are killed or something like that. Same thing with honey. Honey involves bees, and bees are killed in the production. I said, well, what if the bees were taken off and then say, I mean, this is like, I'm sorry. I'm not even in there. I don't even know what you're talking about with that. So you hear what I'm saying? I'm against it. I don't eat meat, but not for the reason you do it. How about if somebody says, I'm, quote, against, or I am against funding Israel in their war against Palestine. Why? I don't believe in foreign aid to involve ourselves in civil activity, civil wars, and any kind of, or if somebody believes that Israel is a settler colonialist, so we can all agree. This one's doesn't like Zionism. This one's pro-Palestinian. This one just doesn't want to give money. This one's against war. So you can have 5 different people all seemingly agreeing to the same idea, but for different reasons. That's fascinating. So there's not. So the way the New York Post says, anti-Israel protest results in. That's the way you saw it. I told you yesterday we were coming back from this wonderful event, celebrating this patriot, Andrew Linder, who ran over 3,100 miles from the pier to the park, from Santa Monica Pier all the way to New York to Central Park. He came back yesterday wearing a 15-pound weight to symbolize the burdens that trafficked victims have. And this is Al and Lynn's warriors were there, and in any event. So as we were walking back from that, we see there's this noise, I can hear this. Oh, it's a protest. I don't know what they're saying. A little clarity might be good, because if I don't know what you're saying, I can't agree with you. All right. So anyway, so as we're doing this in front of Universal Music label, there's these sign that says Zionists out of music, or something like that. Zionists out of music, not traffickers, not pederasts and human traffickers and predation and all. No, 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 no. Zionists. And I wanted, but these, I don't know if they're just kids. They're like wearing their keffiyeh. Maybe Bobby, this is the most stupid thing I've ever heard in my life. And this has nothing to do with Gaza, nothing to do with Rafah, nothing to do with Palestinian Authority or Abu Mazen or none of this stuff. And I wanted, but we're in the car. Plus, I'm not even going to bother with this. I'm saying, what exactly? How are you going to say, are you a Zionist? Yeah. And if you got a Zionist out of the music business, Zionist out of commercial fishing, what does that mean? I don't know. What difference does it make? I don't know. Were they put there just to seem stupid? I wouldn't be surprised if they were. What does that mean? What does that have to do with anything? Imagine going into some not some settlement, but some relief center in Gaza, and you go, good news. They're protesting against Zionism in the music business in the west side of Manhattan. What? What does that mean? I don't know. Zionists in the music business? Swear to God. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody said, Zionists out of dentistry, Zionists out of strawberry production. It's like, what does this have to do? Where is this? Is this legit? Is this really true? Do they really exist, these people? And of course, it perpetuates the notion in the meme that they're stupid, they don't know what they're talking about, and they're just part of some kind of a stupid, they don't know, they're anti-Semitic, and kick them off. Here's my beef also. Boy, they bring those kids in, those cops, and they just beat the living shit out of these kids, huh? Settlements. All right, well, they're anti-Semites. What about during BLM? No, wait. Muriel Bowser didn't care about that. Muriel Bowser didn't do that. Hell no. I remember right in front of the Hay Adams, right in front of where that St. John's, that church was, that they set on fire. Remember when they had in big yellow letters, Black Lives Matter? Remember that? Painting on the street. We had one here in New York on Trump Tower. Oh, they didn't care about that at all. Oh, they burned this. This is an historic part of our history, hence it's kind of redundant, but nonetheless, nobody cared about it. Nobody cared about it. Nobody. Muriel Bowser couldn't care less. But now she's going to the Masters. She's going to Vegas, along with that cretin Tiffany Henyard. This is ridiculous. Don Lemon said, wow, it looks like, protests are, what did they say one time? What was that line they said? MLK. Remember this one? They said, MLK. It was about riots. I forget. Riot. Oh, and I must say that tonight that a riot is the language of the unheard. And what is it America has failed to hear? It has failed to hear that the plight of the Negro poor has worsened over the last 12 or 15 years. The riot is the language of the unheard. Not if you're pro-Palestinian. Nope. That doesn't apply. No, different story. Why is that? Well, it just is. And I told you the other day, where are the black voices regarding Palestine? Have you noticed that? It's like, we're not in this. That's yours, not ours. And I was trying to find online. I found a couple of people. I don't know how representative they are. But you get the same people. You get the Max Blumenthal's, Aaron Mate, Elon Pape, Chris Hedges. Go down the list. Napolitano, who's terrific. Mearsheimer, the greatest. Scott Ritter. Just blah, blah, blah. Any black folks? Anybody? Black? Diddy or no? Anybody? Not interested. Why do you think that is? It's fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. So anyway, just think about that, my friends. Now, also I ask you, Mrs. L has some very critical things for you to watch and to listen to on her. I want you to go right now, right this minute, do me a favor and do her a favor and do all of us and honor us. Honor us with going to Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. That's the link. She has the most important story. Listen to what she says about the music business. She could tell you stories like you can't believe. Like you can't believe. You think this Diddy story is about him just beating up Candace? No, stop it. That's just a symptom of a bigger problem. He's just a thug. He's a cretin. Can't even close his mouth. Something to be said for that. What do you think when Bubba Gump, remember that character? Of all the things he could have done, of all the things, why not? It's universally recognized as stupid. It just, I'm sorry, to be a fly catcher. Hey, where's he been? Graham Murphy says Iran's president in helicopter crash. Ooh, wait a minute. Did I miss this? You saw what happened to Slovakia the other day. Here we go. Let me see this. Breaking rescuers. This is the AP. Rescuers. Yep, this was yeah. Breaking rescuers in Iran are trying to reach a helicopter involved in an incident while traveling with an entourage, including President Ebrahim Raisi. That remains to be seen, ladies and gentlemen. That remains to be seen. All right, your friends, you have a great and glorious day. We'll see you tonight at 7 p.m. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the battle for America's worst mayor. And this is a tough piece of what am I trying to say? Of competition going on here. And also, I thank you, Graham Murphy. Welcome back, my friend. Thank you so much. Brad Rung and Barbara Bartolini, thank you as well. We'll see you tonight at 7 p.m., my friends. Don't ever forget. Until then, I remind you, as I always do. Remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Da, da.